Hello, very quick video here on Ryanair. This is a stock that we've had quite a bit of interest in on the back of the Corona sell-off earlier this year. And we've had a couple of messages from other users on Twitter, given we tweet about this stock all the time. We've had a lot of messages kind of saying, well, what is your position and why did you take it? So just going to run through in this video, should only be a couple of minutes, exactly what we saw and why we took a relatively small position in something and how it's played out so far. So we're looking at the a daily chart of Ryanair on our IG account here. What I'm going to do quickly is just jump into the weekly time frame just to show the bigger picture. Now you can see here this goes all the way back to 2014. The current pattern that Ryanair has been in pretty much since the middle of 2017, it's just been in a real sort of steady decline, and it pretty much bottomed out around the middle of August last year, as you can see here, and it has popped back up to the sort of €16 mark before the sell-off earlier this year. And we've been people who've traded Ryanair, and we've typically bought the dips on this stock. And this has been a bit of a frustrating one over the last few years, but it's tended to just follow these patterns where it sort of gradually grinds up and then sells off for a bit, grinds up again and then sells off. And this period between sort of mid 2017 and the end of 2018 was difficult in that we were expecting some bounces, particularly around here, again down here, and also again down here. But we believe earlier this year, after the coronavirus sell-off, that a couple of really good opportunities presented themselves in this particular stock. So let's jump into it and see exactly what we saw. So I'm going to jump back into a daily time frame. And what we're looking at here is each of these candles is a daily candle. And we have our blue line, which is the 20-day, white line is the 50-day, and the dotted red line is our 200-day moving average. I've also put a fib retracement in here from the most recent swing high and pulled it down to this low here and plotted our fib retracement, as you can see here. Now, there was quite an aggressive sell-off, obviously, earlier this year in 2020 on the back of the I suppose the restrictions that came in nearly every country around travel, and airlines were really badly hit. And there are some airlines that are probably going to go to the wall, but we believe that Ryanair fundamentally is a resilient enough stock and a resilient enough airline to weather the storm in this particular case. So we could see that we've had quite a large gap down at the tail end of February, and it's just sort of steadily sold off through the 200-day moving average, and it printed some lows down here around the sort of €8 mark. And why we started looking at this, granted we're looking at this particular stock all the time, but why this particular area of interest was important was purely down to a couple of these candles that printed down in this zone here. So let me just mark them off so you can see them. So it's this particular area down here that we are interested in. So we have this particular candle here on the 16th of March, which sold all the way off down to just above the €8 mark. But what's interesting is the shape of the candle. There is it obviously opened up here. It traded right down to the 8.13 mark and then came back up and traded to 9.30. Which is that's quite interesting, and that's not an indication that we're going to get into a trade just yet, but it's a sign that buyers are stepping in, and this could be short covering, but there are buyers coming in here, and this was quite an aggressive move back up. The following day we had another bearish candle. Again, it came near the lows, didn't take out the lows, and traded back up. Then we have the third red candle here, which sold off quite aggressively, and it still didn't put in the actual low of the move. The low of the move was put in on the fourth day, which is this green candle down here, which is a really interesting candle. And this is the low of the entire move down here. And what's interesting is we've opened pretty much down here at the lows, we've traded up, but then closed down here around 8.32, and this is a real sign that buyers are stepping in. We have a green volume candle down here that's quite significant. It's sticking out, and the following day again, the stock actually gaps up, opens up here. It trades down, and it's a red candle. It's a bearish candle, but it doesn't come near the closing price of the green candle down here. And this is where we started to look at a potential entry on this stock, as it's an indication that sellers are starting to disappear and the buyers are stepping in a bit more. It's the whole economic theory of supply and demand. So where we started to look at our position was it was actually on this day here, which is the 24th of March. But this candle down here was pretty much confirmation. We had on the 23rd of March, which was a Monday, we had a bit of a candle that demonstrates a bit of indifference. We've opened, we've traded up, we've gone down, we've touched the lows, and then we've closed in and around where we opened. And it was on this day here, which is the Tuesday, that we initiated a position on this. This particular day, it was an up day. Things started to feel a bit more positive. There was some more positive news coming out around the coronavirus, in terms of what we knew and what the long-term implications may look like. And we took a position in and just shy of the €9 mark. So it would have been in and around this area here. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect entry by any means. We were probably chasing price a little bit, but it was in and around this sort of area here where we got on board. And this traded nicely over the next few days. We've come up off the 20-day moving average, and it's come back down, and we were underwater for a couple of days on this one. This is where we had to have faith in where we put our stop loss and where we're prepared to get out of the trade. And we've unwound a little bit of the position just over here around the 38% fib retracement, and it's been really interesting the last day or two. It's come off the 200-day moving average. It's come down. It hasn't really dipped too far below the 38% fib retracement, and we're starting to resolve the 200-day moving average. We're starting to get acceptance over and above this price, and we're now knocking on the door of the 50% fib retracement of the coronavirus sell-off. And the 50 and the 61 they're the two levels that we pay the most attention to. That's the golden ratio, and it is our instinct that this will knock on the door. It will break higher, and it will hopefully touch off this particular area in here around the 1323 mark, as you can see on the chart. Hope you found this video informative. Any questions, queries, get us in the comments. Thanks.